Hi guys, and welcome back to Correct My Swing. Andy and Josh chats. Yep, still episode 6, and we still haven't got a new thing, but we're getting really familiar with that. So this is going to be a short one, which is not like us at all. I'm trying to keep me short. The keeping me from getting excited and gettable is going to be. So the reason why we've recorded this one is because we got into a bit of a discussion about what was if we had to give every golfer that we worked with one exercise, or we had to work on one muscle group, what would it be? So it was interesting conversation, this, but
well, we kind of probably the hot topic at the moment is like glutes. For the classics, are one of the biggest muscles in your body. Everyone knows that. Big power generator, specifically for hip extension. And another big hot topic in golf at the moment is power, is speed. I mean, there's so many links and studies out there now with the technology, like you body track, the force that you produce through the floor. The guys who to the furthest produce the most force through the floor. That's like commonly known. Likes of like Dustin Johnson and athletes like that, they can dunk a basketball as well as like that's part of the reason why they're able to hit the ball so far. And if anyone's tried to dunk a basketball, that's pretty high. So it's a big vertical jump. So there's the link between ground force production, big vertical jumps, swing speed, loads of links, loads of correlations. You go a bit more specific to that then in the downswing, I can't remember exact point, but you're only 1 or 2 frames out, whether it's left arm parallel to the floor or club shaft at like perpendicular straight vertical to the floor in your downswing. So you're very, very similar points. So in one of the studies I read that the longest hitters had 1.5 times their like weight and force in their lead leg at that point. So they get their heaviest in their lead foot before impact. From that point onwards, they start to push up as they go into the ball. That one allows them to shallow the angle of approach, shallow the shaft, so they can like start to hit up on the ball for a driver, which is ideal. So that helps create more distance. But it's also kind of referred to as the rising belt buckle in like coaching terms, that you will see people like Justin Thomas that literally jump off the floor as they hit it. Like he's a small fella, but yeah, hits it miles because he literally jumps out of his skin to do it. And he's literally jumping out of his skin as he's doing it. Yeah. And his belt buckle rise, it will sink down into the downswing, and then as he's coming through impact, it will rise up significantly from where it started from. But what we were chatting about and debating was, this is all brilliant, but only really feasible if
you don't. Yeah, this is where I went off on a rant. So because we were talking about this, the effectiveness of glute max and being able to accelerate that hip extension, and also driving them up into that belt buckle, into that lumbar extension end pattern, which is great, right? And I do appreciate that. But the outer glute, so the stability glute, the glute medius in the one that, and we're actually going to I'll add a picture of this into the end of this, and actually Josh go and do an exercise, which I'm going to encourage every single person to do this, because you're right. The ground reaction force is good. So therefore we've got to be able to transition effectively and efficiently. If we hear everything that we talk about, I seem to use that word 3 million times in every podcast we do, from the floor all the way through up to the wrist, through the shoulders, into the arm. Right. Okay. So that force has got to be transitioned through that journey. Now, if we have a weak link in our pelvis, that force is not going to be translated through effectively. Like Josh said, golf is fundamentally almost a single leg sport in the sense of you're transferring your weight. So if you can't effectively stand on one leg and control the side bend position or a lateral shift, if you can't control the rotation through the hip, then you're going to rotate somewhere else. And the one muscle that does that absolutely really, really well is the glute medius. And this is the thing that, if you don't have an ineffective, that you are ending up, and this is what I was saying to you is, that's great. But if you're ending your swing with a whole side shearing shift at the end of your pattern,
it just sounds bad, doesn't it? It just sounds painful.
But again, this is, it does, yeah.
Ooh.
But
you can feel it.
And you wonder why your back hurts
just thinking about
it. Yeah, it does. You know, and that's the thing, but also the effectiveness to control the rotation in the backswing. So again, we're talking about speed and power, but if your hips can't fully rotate, your pelvis can't rotate through your hips, which, you know, eccentrically is controlled in the backswing by the glute medius. And then, you know, concentrically, it's going to decelerate, it's going to help you decelerate that club on the way down eccentrically as well. That gives you the control so you can use your glute efficiently. So my argument would always say, again, going back to our discussion that we had in our previous one, that actually, if you don't train glute medius, you can't create the power in glute max. So I would then argue, well, actually, your most important muscle that you should really do, if we're talking about efficiency effectively, is make sure your glute med is good, because that works on controlling the rotation and being able to stand on one leg. So I'm keeping this short. Dead simple things. If you have one exercise that I think encourage every single person to do right now, would be the one we're gonna add below this, which is a glute med clam. Dead simple stuff. If you did this effectively and did it on an often basis, then this will help you at the start of your journey, then going on to creating that speed and power that you want to do safely and accurately. Obviously, we also condone you get good coaching. And if you want to know more, then look at our correctmyswing.com website.